讲解华严经十回向品。Is that what you all came for? I hope so. If so, if that is what you came for, we will certainly deliver a lecture on the Ten Transferences chapter. And first, let us begin by requesting Dharma. 我们先从请法开始这个请法呢，我们就已经有结家里，我们就先礼佛三温馨礼，然后呢，我们都请这个结居士帮我们请法。We're going to bow 3 times to the Buddha and then ask Jie Jali in Beijing to request Dharma for us. So here's the screen. We ready? Let's make 3 half bows. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. Hao, 那么我们就请结家里开始请法。
恭请大德僧听，为此法会及一切众生，请转妙法轮，教导我们如何了生脱死，离苦得乐，速证无生。Will the Sangha with great virtue, out of compassion, for the sake of this assembly and all living beings, please turn the wonderful Dhamma wheel to teach us how to leave suffering and attain bliss and end person dies and quickly realize non-birth.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Namo sadanto suchedoye alahadi samyao samputoshe.
Namo sadanto suchedoye alahadi samyao samputoshe.
无上甚深微妙法，百千万劫难遭遇。我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。Supreme and wondrous Dharma, subtle and profound, rarely is encountered even in billions of eons. But now we see and hear it and accept it reverently. May we truly understand the Buddha's actual meaning. 好的结家里感恩请法。All right, we appreciate the Dharma request. 师父上人，各位师兄，大家阿弥陀佛。Venerable Master Dharma friends, welcome again to our sutra lecture. This is the Avatamsaka Sutra. Let us begin by requesting spiritual presence. 我们从九情圣开始，就请华严海会佛菩萨、天龙八部护法神圣莅临大场。 We want to say that the Pomo people practice their spiritual connections to the earth and all of creation here in Mendocino County on their ancestral land for tens of thousands of years. Today, we acknowledge them as traditional custodians and original storytellers of these lands. We offer our respect to their elders past, present, and emerging, and to all First Nations people whose sovereignty was never ceded. Pomo 人在他们祖先的土地上修炼着他们与土地和万物的精神联系已有数万年。今天我们承认他们是这些土地的传统监护人和原始讲故事的人，并且向他们过去、现在和新兴的长老们表示敬意，以及主权从违背国让所有的第一民族人民们表示敬意。Okay. So it is. Furthermore, the bells sound wide, resounds throughout 100 million worlds. The Buddha's law is heard and spread all throughout the triple world. The wondrous sounds that everywhere fill the Dharma realm with peace. May those who hear it gain the strength to follow in faith the Buddha's path. 佛法众生传3000劫内，佛法扬万亿国中，共训其法界和平，利益报他能获得。There, we have done our protocol for requesting Dharma. And, okay, that was, let's see here. Okay, so, Anja, okay, literally, say Ida. Okay. I have a question for all of our experts, which is the word literally in English is balanced with the word figuratively. So when I grew up, literally was a word that you heard every now and then. And it just meant, according to the language, according to the word for word, just the way it sounds. Figuratively meant there was an analogy or a simile or a metaphor being used. It wasn't word for word. Now, somehow in English is such a dynamic language that in the last, must be 5 years or so, literally has become, is one of those words that gets absorbed into the culture and it loses its meaning. People say literally when they don't even know what literally means. It just means kind of an intensifier, like very. So I was curious how literally translates into modern Mandarin, and it's really hard. It's 从字面上, like that, or 名副其实, like that. It's not, it's one of those English words that doesn't really translate over very well. So interesting how sometimes English usage is a very, the difference is what, and this is interestingly, this is worth talking about. It's that Chinese has been in people's mouths and in people's ears for so many thousands of years that it doesn't change much. There's not a lot of new words being added. There are, you know, from tech, high tech, from entertainment, things like that, from fashion. But English is really dynamic. English is, we've only had a couple hundred years of practice in American English, and so the language is constantly changing. New words are added, new slang is developed, and so for Chinese, for me as the translator, to try to keep up with it is very difficult. 我们有一个英文字，我今天准备讲，然后那个字叫 literally，literally 就是说从字面上就是名副其实这样子。可是英文常用的可是你要把它翻译中文不容易翻的。你们不知道谁可以有没有字面上 ？OK， 字面上 ，That's good。好的 ，OK。Here we go. Hey, tonight we have an important part of the Ten Transferences, sixth transference verses to go through, and it's important that we get this correct. We don't want to take it literally. Why not? Because you'll see what I mean. 为什么研究这个字呢？因为今天晚上这个华严字，那个华严经的10回向的第6回向的重诵这里，我们不要从字面上认为应该去做。等一等，你们都会明白我为什么要明白这个字。Here we are. Here's where we are right here. Are we ready? Here we go. I'll sing it. We're in the verses. We sing them. Here we go. 或是于头于是言，或是于手于是足，或是足皮肉骨髓及于物，一切皆摄心无灵。They may give away their head or their eyes. They may give away their hands or their feet. They may give away their skin, flesh, bones, marrow, and more. They renounce all of this without a single thought of stinginess. Okay. So what's going on? Here's what's going on. We're in the 6th transference, and as we've said over and over again, the Bodhisattva first practices giving. This is like a skit. It's a little story in the sutra to demonstrate how the 6th transference is actually practiced. So the Bodhisattva appears as a king, it says, and the king is a donor. He's a philanthropist, or it could be a queen. She gives things away. After she gives things away, by doing this, she has merit and virtue, and then she uses that merit and virtue to give away again with her mind, the queen, the king, and that's how the transference happens. That's a giving of dharma. So transference is a 2-step process, and the sutra spells that out for us. Now, the king, because the king has abundant material resources, gives away all kinds of things. But now suddenly the sutra says what? Oh, the Bodhisattva gives away part of his body, all parts of his body. It specifies bone marrow, eyes, etc., hands. And the way we say it in English is, kids, don't try this at home. Now, you have to explain it carefully. 直白地说, okay, good. 名副其实 is not it, says Jinong Shi. 直白地说, okay. Ernie says literally comes to mean literarily. Yeah, sort of. Yeah. But people just throw it in now as if it means a lot or very. So, yeah. It's kind of like the word awesome, which lost its meaning through overuse. So, the king, what does the king do? Our paradigm bodhisattva, our template for how bodhisattvas practice the bodhisattva path, he is now exercising intense sincerity. The sutra goes to extremes, almost to a comic extreme. It's almost like a caricature to show us how sincere the bodhisattva really is in giving everything away. Now, we got to underline that and say, put it in asterisks and bold it and say, you know what? Bodhisattvas really do give away their hands, their eyes, their feet, their marrow. They are not doing it metaphorically, figuratively. They actually do it. We don't, unless we are bodhisattvas who possess solid samadhi power. That's why we always have to put a disclaimer on this section of the text. So people don't say, oh, well, Dharma Master says and the sutra says, so I'll go ahead and cut off my hand and offer that to the first person I can give it to, because that's what the sutra said. No, not like that. Different. You can, now, let me translate that, and then we'll come back and illustrate how this might work. 大家明白华严经解释如何修回向，就给我们一个小戏剧。这次呢，有个国王他很富有，非常有钱有财产，他愿意布施，他愿意做大施翁，一个乐善家，他可以，因为他财产多。然后供养好了，布施好了，他就因为这样修行，施波罗蜜，贪罗波罗蜜，结果呢，他很有功德，他有福气，因为修这个法门。然后呢，第步是什么？他就用心在做布施，把这个功德布施出去了。哦，那就叫回向，做法布施。哦，原来如此，所以就叫回向。嘿，没错。这次呢，它不是什么身体的各部分，他的身肉，他的手，他的脚，他的舌头，他的眼睛，他的骨髓都能舍，一点都不吝惜啊。那我们怎么说呢？英文就说 "Kids don't try this at home"， 小朋友们不要盲修瞎练，不要随便乱剁你的手，就说哎，法师说菩萨这样做，我也这样做，不对。除非你有菩萨的真正大定力，不动于衷，那就可以了啊。所以呢，我们都要讲清楚，真的华严经的菩萨这样做没有错，他什么都能布施，一点都不吝惜，他舍得，不是说到时候舍不得就退菩提心，不是，这是菩萨的行为。我们呢知道菩萨会有这样做呢，就是华严经给我们讲，菩萨是没有限量，他真的能布施，他知道就是会有好处，众生可以用，他就一点都不吝惜。好了，我们知道啊，就说直白地说，我们一半呢就知道这是一个比喻，这是一个比喻啊。Okay, so if let's see now, if Chinese for literally is 字面上 or 直白地说 what about figuratively? Figuratively means there is a literary function. We understand that this is an analogy. It's a metaphor, it's a simile. It's an example so that we can understand something else. That's what a figuratively, literarily. So, literally has come to mean literarily, says Ernie. What do you think about that? Literarily. Okay. I hear people use it all the time when it totally loses its value as a meaning. Okay. Now, think about how we could make this work. How does it work? It's that, let's see, if we say the Avatamsaka Sutra is giving us an extreme example to illustrate how real bodhisattvas with real bodhisattva samadhis who do not move in the face of physical pain and who are completely unattached to anything that could benefit others, they will give it away. They do. They give it away. Think about what? On my driver's license, I have a green dot. My California driver's license has a green dot, which says, yes, if I am killed in an accident and it's still time, you can use parts of my body to donate to others who are in need of kidneys or eyes or whatever. So in a sense, although it is different, or is it the same? Organ donors are just this way. If living beings can use it, they give it away. There's an example. Also, think about who? Moms. What do moms do? Moms let go of their beauty on behalf of their children. Moms cannot possibly keep their slim girl figure or their unwrinkled faces in order to raise children. The kids need the very flesh and blood and beauty of their mother and they just need it. They demand it. They scream for it. Moms don't say, oh, well, no. You can go ahead and cry. I don't want to lose sleep because I'll have bags under my eyes. Moms don't say that. Moms relinquish their own physical well-being because the baby needs them, and they feel that the baby is part of themselves. That is precisely what a bodhisattva would do. So that's understandable. That's close to us when we think of how a bodhisattva gives without reservation when living beings need it. 那个讲得远，那就说哎呀，菩萨是这样子，我怎么会这样子？我做不到。做不到呢，就说我本身我的驾驶证，我有加州驾驶证，那个驾驶证书就有一个绿色的一点在上面，就说那个警察如果就万一有汽车撞车，汽车出事，警察看到那个驾驶证就知道哦，如果需要的话，这个人愿意不是眼睛珠或者肾脏或者肝脏，如果人需要的，可以马上去代换。那也是算不算？应该说算了，就差不多了。愿意不是这个器官。那个是 organ donor 就可以了，那个差不多了。另外就说谁把身体的一个部分不是给人家，就是母亲。母亲怎么做呢？她的美貌，她的这个漂亮的面容，不是给孩子。她的这个年轻的身体呢，生了孩子之后呢，就不像以前，她乐意这样做。母亲不吝惜，为养孩子，母亲就把身体，就把她的美容不是给孩子，一点都不吝惜了。所以呢，就说难道母亲是像菩萨呢？是，就是没有错。那这样讲的近一点，不是那么远，就说菩萨是过去，或者好远的地方，另外一个世界，不是，就是你的母亲就为法忘躯，舍己为人，这样子。Okay, yeah, that's interesting. All right, share the screen. Come back. What else? 菩萨身须大王位，种族好贵人中尊。开口出舍是群生， 其心欢喜无有恋. Bodhisattvas sit on the thrones of great kings. Being of noble lineage, they are honored among people. As they open their mouth and cut out their tongue to give to living beings, their mind rejoices and is free from worry and attachment. Free from, okay. It's you English professors. Free from worry and attachment, right? Free of worry and attachment. I think from is preferred. Now, bodhisattvas sit on the thrones of great kings in our sutra as examples of how you do generosity. They are. And being of noble lineage, they are honored among people. Do we have kings anymore? No, we have CEOs now. No comment. Line 3, however, as they open their mouth and cut out their tongues to give to living beings. Ayo. Their mind rejoices and is free from worry and attachment. Yeah. This is, so when you hear this, you think, whoa, bodhisattvas have different values. There's a very different value scheme at work here. Their mind rejoices and is free from worry and attachment as they open their mouths and cut out their tongues. Who is willing to cut out their tongue? Bodhisattvas, if it is needed. Why would somebody want their tongue? Well, again, we're in that realm where extreme examples are used metaphorically to demonstrate how bodhisattvas are unselfish and not attached in any way to things that ordinary folks would not be able to let go of. If needed, they could do that. They don't go around cutting off their tongue for a gag or for a whim. No, it's not a party trick or a fraternity stunt. They do it because living beings have a need of it. If necessary, they can do this too. Okay? 就说菩萨是国王，王位，贵族，他们是很尊贵的人。虽然尊贵的人，他们也是实际的，大菩萨。就说众生需要的话，他们为什么要舌头呢？就不要问了哈。那么需要，好了，菩萨说没问题了，我就不是给你割自己的舌头。可是他们这样做呢，一点都不吝惜，没有求报酬的念头，一个念头都没有了啊！他没有什么这是刻薄的啊，没有什么后悔，真的是觉得这是好机会这样做。All right, now here we go. Boop, there. Now we said last time I told the story of the first practice of the 10 Practices chapter, and in the first practice, the same situation happens. Living beings come and ask the Bodhisattva for parts of his or her body, and the Bodhisattva is happy to give it away. And it's important to say that the Bodhisattva is not a psychopath, is not somehow psychologically distorted in any way. They actually take the opportunity to give parts of their body as a rare and special opportunity to cultivate the Bodhisattva path. They thank the living beings for coming to ask for parts of their body. They really do. They say, wow, you're helping me with my attachments. Thank you so much. And then they happily give it away. And they make vows. They say, since you're receiving part of my flesh, you have to make the Bodhi resolve with every bite that you take and swallow. So they see this practice of giving as an opportunity to advance towards the fulfillment of their vows in a way that they wouldn't have been able to do otherwise. So thank you, living beings, for coming and asking for my piece of my flesh to eat. Strange values, different priorities, huh? They see this life as one of many. And their goal is to forward living beings towards Buddhahood as soon as possible. Ordinarily, during any ordinary day, they may not be able to make much progress, but here, with living beings asking for something that is very hard to let go of, they are super grateful at the opportunity. 我们讲过这个华严经的十横品第一欢喜横，第一横叫欢喜横，菩萨也遇到同样的情形，有众生很饥饿，他们就来向菩萨求他的身体，他们想吃，有人吃人。对了，菩萨呢，他的价值观呢，他的观念跟我们不一样，他就说，哎，一定的，一定会不是给你。哦，谢谢你来请求我的身体，难得的机会啊！菩萨怎么会这样子呢？他就说：“哦，一般来讲，没有这么好机会来满我自己行菩萨道的愿，就是因为众生来求，所以我可以行舍，难舍能舍这样子。所以他就谢谢这个众生。”然后他还加一个条件，他说：“你吃了我这一口肉，你吃了一口我的生肉，你一定要发菩提心，早成佛道我才不是给你。你看菩萨他的价值他的应该说轻重priorities 轻重跟我们不一样。他知道众生受他的生肉，受他的布施，这是一个难找难遇的机会满他的菩萨愿。所以不一样 right? You got the feeling here how hard it is, wow, for us. Can't imagine. Mostly we find it very hard to give things away. Here we go. "一彼施舍诸功德，回向一切诸众生，普愿济此生因缘，悉得如来广长舍." With the merit they accrue from giving their tongue, they make dedications to all living beings. With these supreme causes and conditions, they vow that all beings will attain the Tathagata's vast long tongue. Okay, here's the transference part. This is the first time we hear about transference since we started the verses here. So this is verse number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, we're at verse number 11, and it's clear right here. 回向一切诸众生, they make dedications to living beings. So this fills out the second half of the process of the transference Dharma door. The merit that they get from giving their tongue, or it could be any part of their body, they take that merit and share it, give it away. With those causes and conditions, notice sheng yin yan. What does it say? It says 普愿济戒此圣因缘. This is supreme causes and conditions, not ordinary causes and conditions. They make a vow. They say, I want to give it to living beings, and may they all obtain 如来广长舌. Okay, this requires another explanation. What is the Tathagata's vast long tongue? It's not that the Buddha cuts out his tongue. It's not literal. There's our word again. It is not literally the Buddha's tongue. It's talking about hearing the Buddha's sound. The Buddha's tongue is used to speak Dharma. And how does the Buddha teach us? One, we see him. He teaches us by example. We see his deportment, we see his perfection, we see the Buddha's light, and we think, that's what I want. I want to be just as mellow and free from worry, and just the vibration of the Buddha. Apparently, they say, when you see it, when you're close to it, it just shakes every cell in your body, says, yes, that's what I want to be. The Buddha is home. I want to be home in myself the way he is. So that's one way the Buddha teaches us. The other way is by listening to the words he says. That's the tongue right there. 此土真修, how does it go? That the teaching in this land, the source of the teaching is found in sound, says the Shurangama Sutra. 此土真教体清净在音闻. So because we teach with sound, with language, when we get the Buddha's vast long tongue, that means we hear the Dharma and accept it and are moved by it. That's what it means. Okay. 在这四句偈颂这里，我们就听到回向。这是第11首，从开始从诵到现在第11首，就说因为能不使自己的舌头有功德，把这个功德回向呢，那就圆满这个法门。这个法门是这样修的，这是圣因缘。圣因缘，他们就发愿，我愿意把我的功德回向给众生，希望他们得到如来广长舌相。这个也是一个比喻。这个长舌相是32相一个，可是我们不是说我们要认清楚，就不是说如来就割他的舌头，不是出去，不是这个舌，用这个舌头讲话讲法。如来怎么样教化我们呢？第一呢，现身说法，他就用他的威仪，他的圆满的报身，还有他这个应该说他的光明，就据说佛现出来了，每个人看到佛如来就觉得非常非常自在，很舒服很舒服，就说每个细胞都得其所在，就觉得从来没有那么圆满，没有忧虑，没有害怕，没有恐怖，非常舒服。所以佛就用那个就来教化我们。还有他讲话，得到佛法，我们就自己都发心修行，发心舍邪归正，做一个圆满的人。就说学佛做人，人道尽，佛道成。我们听佛讲法，就想走这个人道到圆满的地步。所以就说得到佛的广长舌，就是这个意思。我们听闻佛法，然后接受。Okay? All right. Now, we got another verse that needs interpretation, but before we do, I'm going to remind everybody, 7 Tathagata's names. Gotta do it. Exercise the right brain. Namo Do Bao Ru Lai, Namo Do Shan Lai, Namo Do Shan Lai, these already? 都学会了吗？会背诵吗？很多好处。Ready with me? Namo Do Bao Ru Lai. Namo Tathagata Many Treasures. Namo Bao Sheng Ru Lai. Namo Tathagata Jewel Victory. Namo Miao Sai Shen Ru Lai. Namo Buddha with a marvelously formed body, beautiful body Buddha. Namo Guangbo Sheng Ru Lai. Tathagata with an extensive body, big body Buddha. Namo Li Du Wei Ru Lai. Tathagata beyond all fears, that is to say, fearless Buddha. Namo Ganyu Ru Lai. Namo Tathagata Ambrosia, sweet dew Buddha. Namo Amito Ru Lai. Amitabha, the Buddha of limitless light, right? Together from top to bottom. 再来，好。Namo Do Bao Ru Lai. Namo Bao Sheng Ru Lai. Namo Miao Sai Shen Ru Lai. Namo Guangbo Shen Ru Lai. Namo Li Du Wei Ru Lai. Namo Ganyu Ru Lai. Namo. When I'm walking down the road, and I remember, I just recite Namo Do Bao Ru Lai, Namo Bao Sheng Ru Lai, Namo Miao Sai Shen Ru Lai, Namo Guangbo Shen Ru Lai, left, right, left, right, left, right. And I send the energy out to beings on all sides, especially the ones without bodies, the ghosts, the spirits. Namo Guangbo Shen Ru Lai, Namo Li Bu Wei Ru Lai, Namo Gan Lu Wang Ru Lai, Namo Amito Ru Lai. Just like that, yeah. And wow, it's it gives you something wonderful to do. And I need to tell everybody that starting tomorrow at 12:30 Pacific Daylight Time. Are we daylight time now? Jinfo Shi, Dharma Master Jinfo, will be reciting the Buddha's name he is recovering his health in Arizona right now after surgery. And he will be online for half an hour to recite the Buddha's name with a ground bell with everybody. People who have been in the habit of reciting the Buddha's name with Jinfo Shi for years more now, because during COVID, he's going to start again. So where do you go? You go to berkeleymonastery.org. Let me put that in the chat box. And you can be reciting with Jinfo Shi. This is 12:30 Pacific Daylight Time, Monday to Thursday, 4 days a week. Jinfo Shi will be reciting the Buddha's name. berkeleymonastery.org. If somebody has a more accurate URL for that, please give it to us. 就说有人在那个疫情来的时候已经习惯了跟我们的金佛师每天念佛30分钟半个小时，在 berkeleymonastery.org。 因为金佛师最近又要养身体了，所以现在在 Arizona 在养好身体，他可以上网，每天加州时间下午12点半到下午1点钟30分钟要打地钟念佛，欢迎大家收听，跟着金佛师一起念。 it's the Berkeley Monastery has the regular cultivation channel for when you do 早晚课 same one. Okay, now if you can't get YouTube, I'm afraid we won't be able to help. I don't know if they do have, maybe there is a Zoom link. There we go. There we go right there. Okay, thank you, Connie. You can apply and register. 就说这是星期一到星期四，每个礼拜4天都一起念佛。金佛师他很欢喜帮助大家念佛，所以愿意参加可以参听，欢喜收听，欢迎收看。Okay, here we go. Share the screen. More of the Bodhisattva. Let's go. Ready? 或是其自己妄为，或是其身所同仆，其心清净常欢喜，如是一切无有悔。They may give away their wives, children, and throne, or offer themselves as young attendants. Their heart is ever pure and blissful, free from worry and regret. All right, now in the age of male hegemony and the era of Me Too, this can sound pretty awful. Bodhisattva gives away his wife. Well, what if it's a queen and the Bodhisattva gives away her husband? Is that any better? Gives away their children? Is that slavery? All right. Understand what this means. This is not literal. This is talking about how the Bodhisattva is really, really unattached to the things that most people in the world are most attached to. Family, even family. He is not a slave trader. He is not a cruel, heartless husband who is carelessly throwing away his children. No, it's not that. That would be most unlike a Buddha, compassionate Buddhist, right? So don't even think about that. It says his throne too. In other words, the things that people most cling to and are most attached to, the Bodhisattva, when needed, in a circumstance where there is goodness to be gained by this kind of generosity, they are even willing to do that. So if we add the word even, then we get it. Furthermore, it says the Bodhisattva is able to give himself away as a what? As a volunteer. As a volunteer. The Bodhisattva belongs to a not-for-profit, belongs to an NGO, belongs to a pay-it-forward circle, and they do so with joy. They have tasted the joy that comes with generosity, and it has a flavor like none other. That's what it means. 在这里，各位要认清楚，就是他不是那个国王，不是他的太太。哦，你说，哎呦，重男轻女吧？不是。如果国王是女的皇后，她愿意不是她的先生愿意。孩子呢，却不是说卖他的孩子赚钱，不是这样子的。华严经怎么会有这种的这个残忍？不会，这个要认清楚。就是说，甚至于一般人舍不得的东西，菩萨舍得，他连这个也能不舍所以我们知道他什么都不执着然后是其身做通谱，做通谱我们现在有通谱吗？有，我们换一个名字叫什么？义工、职工，他愿意把他的时间布施给人家， 或者他在这个NGO non-governmental organization 做捐他的时间都愿意这样做的话，七心清净常欢喜他都不吝惜，都不后悔，他乐意这样做，如是一切无有悔你看他这是在给我们做榜样，是不是？鼓励我们，如果一切都为了钱，那就恐怕我们都不会有开心的日子。If we calculate every bit of time that we use in our lives with profit as the only motive, there's a real good chance we don't have much joy in our lives, because this bodhisattva, the more he gives, the happier he gets. Yeah. Ready? More. 虽所乐求现实语，应是寂寂无疲厌，一切所有皆能散，诸来求者普满足。Whatever people like or request, he gives to them at the appropriate time without weariness. Bodhisattvas are able to renounce all of their possessions. All those who come in search of something are satisfied. Wow, look at this. Talk about a donor. Talk about somebody who understands the joy of giving. This bodhisattva totally is there. He is volunteers for service space. The joy of volunteering, the happiness of giving is a happiness that never runs dry. This is something that every one of us can experience ourselves, and I completely encourage all of us to take every opportunity to volunteer, whatever it might be. Reading for the blind, for example, or we have a unique one in Australia, where we live in the hinterland of the Gold Coast. You know what we have? We have platypuses. Platypuses. I wonder. Anybody quick translation of platypus into Chinese? Somebody want to look it up? All right. Let's see. 亲亚洲时间是 okay, let's see. 亚洲时间 12:30. 12:30 to 1 Mondays, Thursdays. 亚洲时间 okay, California 12:30 p.m. is, let's see here, 12:30 is 台北凌晨3点半。哎呦加州时间下午12点半是台北中国凌晨3点半。很早。Okay, so how do you translate platypus? Platypus. Somebody look it up. I'm going to type it in there. Platypus. Platypus. Platypus is an egg-laying mammal. Remarkable. Unique to Australia. Not only unique to Australia, unique to our corner of Australia. Only in the eastern coast of Queensland. Let's see here. 鸭嘴兽, probably, yeah? 鸭嘴, 对, 应该是鸭嘴兽. Platypuses, they're remarkable. They are in our creeks, wild. They are wild in our creeks. And we have in my meditation circle in Queensland, we have someone who told us about swimming as a child in rural New South Wales, which is south of us, and saying that where they swam, there were platypuses in the creek, and they, here we go. Everybody ready? Hold on. Share my screen. There it is. Right there. There's a platypus. They could swim with the platypuses in the creek. And so now, because of habitat, there we go, there's a beautiful platypus. Because of habitat loss and the incursion of humanity, the habitat is being destroyed. So platypuses are rare. There we go, Puggle. Yep, there's a baby platypus. There we are. Okay, there it is. Lots of great photos. So in our creek, right beside where we live and cultivate, there are wild platypuses in Mudgeraba Creek and Benogan Creek, so and Currumbin Creek. So they have volunteer agencies where you can sign up and go out and count platypuses. And they're hard to see because in the water there's just a little V traveling through the water. If we could see underneath, there's the platypus. But from above, you only see a little bit. Occasionally, they break the surface and play. But they're very cute. They're this big, and they're very furry, and they're weird as can be. They have a duck's bill. They have like otter's feet and a tail, and they lay eggs. They're called monotremes. So, yeah, wonderful. But you can volunteer. And my friend Sam and I have volunteered, and we will be serving on the platypus counting team of volunteers before long. So there's many opportunities to volunteer wherever you are. Find out what opportunities you have. And there is deep joy in giving away, giving your time. So encourage everybody to do that. 就说这个能不使你的时间做义工、做志工，这个是很欢喜的。这是开心没有停了，没有停止啊。如果求快乐，买这个拿这个，得这种的这个光荣啊或者什么，那个到时候都会觉得很空虚。求名求利，那个不会满足自己心愿，就是把你的时间不是给人家做 volunteer， 那才这个快乐就没有完了的时候，你就觉得空虚，再不是的都回来了啊。就举个例子，在我们住的 Australia 那个地方附近有 platypus 是鸭嘴兽，刚刚看到它的相片，难得只有我们这个地方才有这个动物。它是一个 mammal， 它会egg-laying mammal can't translate so 每年他们附近就说谁愿意帮我们到你附近那个小溪来数一数，点名看看有多少个 platypus， 这是野生的在那边，因为我们要拿一个总数才知道他们兴盛还是衰落，那么就义工，我们就建议我们愿意去帮他们数一数。So 这是很欢喜很开心，很难看到了，因为他们在水底下，你只能看到一个他们游过去，有的时候出来了，哦，那就开心。所以我们都会 volunteer 去这样做，就鼓励各位有你们附近哪里有什么样的机会做义工、做志工，volunteer right， 你就会有你会觉得这是好用时间的，我们有所求啊，他得到，那就不满意了，觉得哎呀空虚了，那么能把这个时间布施出去了，那就宝贵，难得。All right, okay. Now we covered a bunch of verses about the Bodhisattva. There's our platypus. There we go. how bodhisattvas practice giving as kings, and how happy they are, and how happy are the people who receive their generosity. Now, I'm going to read something very special, a brand new edition of bilingual Life of Xuanzang. And this is a perfect example of giving with the thought of getting as a result. Notice in the examples of the Bodhisattva, the giving that the Bodhisattva does as the king has no thought of return. It's pure giving for the sake of making others happy. Now, the Bodhisattva does get closer to accomplishing his vows, or her, but the giving that the Bodhisattva does is for the joy that it gives. When I grow up, I want to be a Bodhisattva, says the song, right? So here in the story of Master Xuanzang, we run into an example of giving and generosity that has a purpose behind it. It's not pure, and it doesn't work. Perfect illustration of how to do it wrong. 你们各位有没有注意，在华严经，菩萨这样子布施，他得到什么呢？得到欢喜心，得到满意，得到快乐。因为众生受到他的清净的布施，他们都接近被摄受，接近离苦得乐，接近他们自己的佛果。菩萨他的愿力得到再进一步圆满，没有错。可是呢，目的是要令众生欢喜，满他们的愿就够了。我们今天晚上玄奘大师的故事不一样。这里很好一个例子，一个比方。你如果布施有用意，布施有目的，就不成功，不满意。这个今天晚上的故事 perfect， 很恰当。All right, you ready? Here we go. This is a perfect example of how to do it wrong. Here we go. Okay. Let's see. Okay, we've read this before. We'll do it again. So, 法师但法师未起，王亦至门，衰废一下，主来问。王云：弟子思量，弃路艰阻，实能独来，其身其也，身为其也。流泪承担，不能已矣。遂设食，解斋器，而共彻别有道场。王自引法师居之，前燕人侍卫，彼有彖法师，曾学长安善治法相。王正之命赖与法师相见，少师出，又名国同王法师，年逾80，共法师同处，仍前劝助无望西方，法师不许。Okay? Early the following morning, before the master had arisen, the king and his queen, with their attendants, came to pay their respects. The king said, the way through the desert's hard to travel. How wonderful it was that you could have come all alone. He praised the master highly, could not refrain from showing his emotion. This is the king of Wuchang. Food was served, and when the master had taken his breakfast, the king led him to a monastery which was situated by the side of the palace and sent eunuchs to serve him. Now, an ordinary person would have thought, that's really great. Now I've got servants. Not our master. The king requested a revered teacher by the name of Tuan, who had studied at Chang'an, well learned in the theories of the Dharmalakshana, that's a misprint there, Dharmalakshana school. The king respected him. He asked him to come see the master. After a brief interview, the reverend teacher took his leave. The king had another royal teacher. This is the tutor of the prince and the princess, Wang, who was 80 years old, to live together with the master to persuade him to give up his idea of traveling to the West. The master did not consent. Okay, what's going on here? The king of Gaochang, has in his mind, he is going to take Master Xuanzang as his official royal teacher. Never mind that Master Xuanzang has made the vows to go to India to get the sutras and has already been rescued by miracles. You know what he's been through? He went through tests by demons, and he did something superhuman. He crossed the desert where no one could go by himself. And so he has already given up his life on behalf of the Dharma. And the king thinks that he is just going to, kind of persuade him, give him stuff. And Master Xuanzang will go for it. 就说这个高昌王他认为能应该说贿赂，应该布施东西，玄奘法师就会说好，那我就留下来了。想不到这个玄奘法师已经有个奇迹，他已经可以说临死都被韦陀菩萨、观音菩萨所救的，他已经过了这个大摩诃岩，一般人做不到。那么就说难舍能舍，就是玄奘大师。国王高昌王怎么会就布施一点东西了？那个玄奘法师会改变主意了？不会。Okay, moving on. Ready? 庭始于日，欲辞行。王曰：一令通事自请。师意何如？法师报曰：留住实是王恩，但是来心不可。王曰：我自己太与先王有大国，从隋帝立东西二京右燕代分晋时间之间，多见名僧，心无所慕，自称法师名，身心欢喜，受无阻导。你是制止，受弟子供养，留众一身。另一国人皆为师弟子，往事讲授，僧徒虽少，亦有数千，并是直经，充实听众，复原刹那唯心，不亦稀有微念。Nope. Having stayed for more than 10 days, the master wanted to go and continue his journey. The king said, I've asked my royal teacher to convey my wish. What do you think? The master replied, it's a great honor indeed that you've asked me to remain here, he says, but it's not in agreement with the intention that I set out with on my journey. The king said, I've traveled to the great country with the late king, and I've visited the emperor of Sui, both east and west capitals, Yan, Tai, Fen, Jin, so Hebei and Shanxi. I've seen monks of high reputation, none of them did I admire. When I heard your name, I danced with delight. I planned that when you came here, you will stay with me to receive my offerings for a lifetime. I will order all the people of my country to be your disciples, to whom you may teach Buddhism. We have not many monks here. They amount to only several thousand, just a few. I will instruct them to hold the scriptures and be your students. I earnestly hope you will consider my humble desire and give up the idea of traveling to the West. All right, so what's going on? The king is promising Ming and Li, you will be famous and powerful. I'll give you anything you want. You have all these, the entire country will be your disciples. What do you say? 哇，这个国王 他就说：“我给你名，我给你利，所有我的小国家的这个僧俗都是你的弟子，你说怎么样啊？” Oh boy. Ready? This gets really profound here. This is so beautifully done because we get to see the thinking behind it. 我们都会看到他们的思想写得非常恰当。法师谢曰：“往之后义，其品道慕德所当。但此行不为供养而来，所悲本国法，亦未周。竟较少却，怀疑云惑。其方莫从，以是避命西方。请慰问之旨，欲令方等甘露，不但毒洒于家为。觉此为言，树德进战于东国。波论问道之志，善哉求有之心，只可日日坚强。其事中途而止，愿望收益，勿以泛养为怀。” Beautifully spoken. He's such a diplomat. The master replied, "Your proposed hospitality is cordial indeed, but I am unworthy to accept it. The purpose of my journey is not to get offerings. Ding, 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 ding. It's because I regretted in my country the Buddhist doctrine was imperfect. The scriptures are incomplete. Having many doubts, I wished to go and find out the truth. So I decided to travel to the West at the risk of my life in order to seek for the teachings that I have not yet heard, so that the dew of the Mahayana Sutras would not only have been sprinkled at Kapilavastu, but the sublime truth may also be known in the Eastern country." Look at this answer. It's so good. The ambition of Sadaparadita. Sadaparadita is the Sanskrit. He's the hero in the Prajnaparamita Sutra, the ever-weeping bodhisattva. He goes after the truth, and the wish of Sudana, we know who Shansai Tongzi is, looking for friends, should be strengthened day after day. It should not be abandoned halfway. I hope your majesty will recall your words. Do not trouble yourself about me. Look at what a skillful answer this is. He's giving the king a chance to save face. And you know what else he's saying? No. The king cannot hear no. Nobody says no to the king. 玄奘大师他答复呢这么有辩才，他给这个国王一个下台的机会，他可以收他的脸，不必丢脸。你知道吗？向国王说不要，这不可以的，这是有杀头的这个关系。谁对国王说不，就没有多久了这是他的耳朵听不到这个不字。玄奘大师就说对不起，不。王曰：弟子莫要法师必留供养，虽从山可转，此亦无疑。其信欲成，无亦不实。The king said, "As I have great adoration of you, I've decided to keep you with me so you can accept my offerings. Even if the Pamir range could be moved, my mind will not change. Please believe in my sincerity. Do not have any suspicions." He thinks he can threaten Master Shenzhuang to move. More. 法师报曰：王之身心，期待履言，然后知也。但玄奘昔来未法，法既未得，不可中听。以是敬辞，愿王相体。又大王囊修圣业，未为人主。非为苍生生世，养蛊以示教一平，理在助养，岂宜为爱？ Beautifully said. To this, the master responded, I don't have to repeat how much I appreciate your kindness. But you know what? I'm going to the West to seek for the Dharma. I can't stop halfway before I get it. That's why I respectfully decline your kind offer, and I wish you will have sympathy with me. What a skillful man he is. Moreover, you have done good deeds in your previous lives. You are now a lord of men, upon whom not only your subjects depend, but the Buddha Dharma depends on you for support. It helps you in spreading it and not obstructing it. He is so eloquent. 你看玄奘大师他的辩才无碍，他就这样子说啊，你是非常有福报，你也是大护法，所以你不要阻碍佛法。他用种种的说法，就为说服这个国王。Now what happens? The king gets angry. 王曰：弟子亦不敢让碍，只以国无导师，故取留法师，以因喻迷耳。法师皆辞不许。王乃动色，攘眉大言曰：弟子有意图处师，是安能自去？或定相留，或送师还国，亲自嗣之，相顺有胜。The king said, I dare not obstruct the propagation of Buddhism, but it's only because we have no teacher in our country to guide us that I want to keep you here to illuminate those who are ignorant. The king is pretty savvy himself. Despite the king's entreaties, the master would not accept the invitation to stay. The king became sullen and shouted, flapping his sleeves, I have other ways to deal with you. How could you go by yourself? You have to stay, or I'll send you back to your country. Consider the matter well. I think it's better for you to comply with my wish. It's a physical threat. Difficulty. This is a difficulty. 法师报曰：玄奘来为护大法，进奉为丈，只可古辈未留，亡留，世身未必留也。因无言，不复能言，往亦不纳，更是增加供养，每日进食，王公捧盘。The master said, I've come here on my way to obtain the great Dharma. Since I've encountered an obstruction, you can only keep my body, you cannot keep my mind. Saying so, he burst into tears and would say no more. The king would not give the master permission to go. He increased the amount of offerings. Every day at mealtime, he held a tray with his own hands to serve food to him. Ho, ho, ho. Look at that. So this is one of those lines that lives forever. 金风为杖，只可古辈亡留，世身未必留也。Right? You can keep my body, you cannot hold my mind. 他这样是答复呢，这个决心呢，就是大英雄才能说这个话啊，只可古辈亡留，世身未必留也。哇，不容易，不容易，这是相当的大的障碍。Oh man， 怎么办？怎么办呢？这是非常非常有益的。Okay. Now, we will continue next week. Whoa, it's a cliffhanger. I'm going to stop right there. Whee! Wow. How do you say a cliffhanger in Chinese? We stop at the critical moment. You have to come back next week to find out. Yeah. So, my goodness. What is cliffhanger in Chinese? At the end of, that's how a good novel ends every chapter, with makes you want to turn the page to the next. Yeah. 告一段落, right? So, what have we said? We've said that starting tomorrow, folks can recite the Buddha's name along with Jinfo Shi. And if you look at our chat box, the link is there. The BBM Zoom meeting for folks who are not able to get YouTube. And if you get YouTube, go to the Berkeley Monastery cultivation website. 就说从明天开始，这个如果中国、台湾、香港、马来西亚哇，凌晨3点半太早如果是这边，那就加州时间12点半你们各位看到 BBM 那个我们 chat box 里边都有这个博客来声势 Zoom 这个link 就可以了。Okay, everybody happy there? Okay, now I need to tell everyone that 2 weeks from tonight, there is a special event that is going to take me away. We don't know whether we'll be able to broadcast this or whether it's suitable for the Wanfo-Chang Sunday night. But, sorry, my mistake. Not that one, it's the other one. We have a special concert here at the monastery on Sunday night, the 27th. That's 2 weeks from tonight. Buddhist songs. And this is the third time that this group of people have come together to sing for the community. And I will be leaving for Australia within the next week. So this is the last chance to do it. And we will be singing Buddhist songs. And these are myself and the abbot of the Berkeley Zen Center and 2 Berkeley area Dharma teachers, Betsy and Eve, who have their own communities and sing and record widely nearby. We're all going to come together at the monastery to perform for a live concert. We may, but it starts at 7 o'clock, so I don't know whether we will be able to share it. Maybe we will record it and then play it at a later date, but I won't be with you on that evening to explain the Avatamsaka. It is, let's see here, it's the week of Ulambana. I'm looking at my calendar here. Ulambana is actually the 30th. So, yeah. It will be celebrated on that day. We will, Ulambana is a wonderful Buddhist holiday every year. And whoever lectures that night will be able to tell the story of Ulambana. Maybe I will do that next week as well, just to, because I love telling the Ulambana story. 就说再过2个礼拜27号那天我们 Berkeley 这里有一个晚会，就我们请附近所有的人到我们的佛堂来，给他们唱佛教的歌曲。我们 Berkeley 这里有5、6位是曾经年轻的时候在 folk music boom 民谣歌、美国民谣歌都有在那个时候开始唱。那么现在已经长大了，是佛教徒，一样用佛教的音乐继续唱。那我们都 准备那天晚上，因为我再过5-6天就回去澳洲，所以是最后一个机会。那么因为7点开始可能没办法 live stream，我们就录影，然后给大家机会看。那天是乌兰盘这个庆祝在圣城，所以需要有朋友给我们讲乌兰盘这个法。Okay, so that's the story, and I'm going to bring up our. Let's see here. What have I got? Here we go. I'm going to dedicate merit, just like the bodhisattvas in the sutra. 就像华严经上的菩萨，现在请大家发回向的愿哈，就会成功的。This world of pain turns into paradise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise. We can bow to the Buddhas together. There we are. Okay, join me. Bow in respect to the Venerable Master. Alrighty, that's going to do it for us for tonight. We'll see you all next week, everyone. Am.pm. Bye now.